How do you define culture?
I think I define culture by the people we meet in a country. Obviously, like the food they eat, what they wear, and what they do for fun. But just mainly the people. I feel like people are so different all over the world.
How do you define culture? For me, culture is like a group of characteristics that define a group of people that share an area.
How do you define culture? I define culture as to be all the activities of a people of a certain country or countries within the same area.
How do you define culture? Well, I define it as the way that humans behave, right? And everything humans do in terms of behavior. So as a biologist, I see it that way. I see like a human behavior. That's how I see it.
It's kind of like a mix between like how people act, what they eat, like clothes they wear, all the kind of stuff that makes like for here, what makes Costa Rica Costa Rica.
Hoy
Art is obviously one of the greatest contributions to Costa Rica's culture. The artistic styles of Costa Rica varies considerably from dance to sculpture to theater and music, drawing off of many different influences, including both English and Latin American contributions. Visual art is a form of expression through painting, sculpture, mosaics, and etc., whereas dance is traditionally regarded as a source of national pride. Dance tends to tell a story in ways that follow a melody. Street art or graffiti is common in Costa Rica, particularly in the cities such as San Jose. The vibrant colors and intricate design are visually contribute to the atmosphere of locals' daily lives.
historia convence que no hay otra patria mejor que sus mujeres hermanas que parecen sin querer exagerar. Muñecas de porcelana escapadas de un lindo bazar. En América una gran polvura es Costa Rica, la reina del café. Es su receta por montadura, es el diamante de su San José. Por ser tan linda Costa Rica me llaman, Narcisa centroamericana. Por ser tan linda Costa Rica me llaman, Narcisa centroamericana. En América una lava polvada es Costa Rica, la reina del café. Es su receta por montadura, es el diamante de su San José. Por ser tan linda Costa Rica me llaman, Narcisa centroamericana. Por ser tan linda Costa Rica me llaman, Narcisa centroamericana. Por ser tan linda Costa Rica me llaman, Narcisa centroamericana. Por ser tan linda Costa Rica me llaman, Narcisa centroamericana.
I think probably food is really important in Costa Rica, as it is in many other parts of the world. Here, well, religion has a really important place in the Costa Rican culture, and specifically Christianity.
Food culture is by far one of the most defining areas of culture in Costa Rica, as it is with many other countries. Here it is influenced greatly by geography and a temperate climate, whereas the land supports the growth of the country's two most common agricultural products, coffee and bananas. Costa Rica is also known for their abundance of tropical fruit, as apparent in the video of the downtown fruit market in Cartago, a city east of the nation's capital, San Jose. These fruits include oranges, plantains, pineapples, starfruit, mangoes, coconuts, limones, mamachinos, and many more. Fresh meat are produced and sold at the markets directly from the producer to the consumer, as shown in the pictures and video. Additionally, Costa Rica is home to the wide variety of fast food restaurants, just as many countries around the world. For breakfast, Costa Ricans commonly eat gallo pinto, which is rice and black beans mixed together. Scrambled eggs are a common side dish, and these can be served with corn tortillas and queso. Fruit is most often served at breakfast. Coffee and fresh juice are the most common drinks. It is not unheard of to eat items such as pancakes to be served for breakfast as well. For lunch, black beans and rice not mixed together, called casados, is normally served with meat, fried plantains, queso, and corn tortillas. Dinner varies greatly in Costa Rica, but a common dish is orzo con pollo, which is rice and chicken. This is typically served with vegetables and salad. Religion plays a vital role in the lives of many Costa Rican and is a considerably vital part of the Costa Rican culture. Roman Catholicism is the state religion encompassing over 70% of the population. The country does honor and respect religious freedom for all. Pictured is the Basilica de Nuestra Señora de los Angeles, also known as the Basilica of Our Lady of the Angels. It is a famous Roman Catholic basilica in Cartago. It was built in 1639 and encompasses a mixture of colonial architecture with Byzantine style. The basilica is centered on the Virgin of Nuestra Señora de los Angeles, which is a small representation of the Virgin Mary carrying baby Jesus. This is accompanied by a story about a little girl who found the statue and took it home. The next day, the statue was gone and back on the rock where she first found it. She took it again and took it to a priest that locked it in a small box. Again the next day, the statue was back where the girl had found it. This eventually led to the church being built on the rock in which the statue was found. Every August, Roman Catholics from all over Costa Rica, as well as some from the neighboring Nicaragua and Panama, pilgrimage to the basilica. Some choose to pilgrimage crawling on their hands and knees as a demonstration of the piety. Upon arrival, the people wash themselves and drink from the water from the rock. Additionally, it is common for people to bring offerings to leave in exchange for miracles and healings.
What do you love most about living in Costa Rica? That's a tough one. Well, definitely, me personally, what I love the most is Costa Rica's biology. Personally, yeah.
It is no surprise that Costa Rica is known for its beauty and vast array of biodiversity and ecosystems, which are areas that resonate with the Costa Rican people and government. About 25% of the land areas is reserved for conservation purposes, such as national parks. The protected ecosystems include beautiful sea turtle beaches, mangroves, tropical rainforests, tropical dry forests, tropical wetlands, and many more. The country is also home to about 2.5% of the global biodiversity, held on 1,000th of a percent of the planet's total surface area. The country is home to various fauna and flora, many of which are threatened or endangered. Because of this, conservation plays a defining role in their daily lives and ultimately affects the country's culture or way of life. How does conservation affect the lives of the people living in Costa Rica?
I would probably say that probably most Costa Ricans, if not all Costa Ricans, would say they are conservationists. So it's very trendy to be a conservationist. It's very popular. What does being environmentally conscious mean to you? I think it's trying to be as conscious as possible or as knowledgeable as possible of the effects my actions have on the environment and of the effects of what is done to the environment. How does that hurt me? I think those two things. Architecture. Let's see, are there any areas of conservation or environmental justice Costa Rica does well, you believe makes the country a good model for others to follow? That's a good one. Yeah, well, probably the thing that Costa Rica is doing the best is trying to make conservation work, so to stop deforestation and to conserve areas that are forested, and to try to implement a system of payment for environmental services. and those two things, Costa Rica has been a pioneer in many standards, and I think it's a good example. Yeah.
Costa Rica is serious about their dedication to the environment, whereas nationally they currently have a set plan to be the first carbon neutral country by 2021. This is where the country would have a zero carbon footprint by achieving the net zero carbon emission by equaling the amount of carbon released with an equivalent sequestered. Poaching of wildlife is heavily monitored as well as to ensure protection of the native wildlife such as the primates, turtles, and big cats. Individually, Costa Ricans are conscious about waste. They do not use unnecessary amounts of energy or water, whereas they hang up their clothing instead of using a dryer or not leaving the air conditioner on when no one is home, and many other daily tasks to reduce consumption.
Okay. Why is conservation important? Why is conservation important? Well, let's see. One reason would be for aesthetics / economics, right? And people have a better quality of life when are conserved areas, when there are pristine conserved areas. Just by them being there makes people's lives have a better quality. And Costa Rica depends on tourism for its economy, and tourism depends on that. So that would be a really cold reason, but a really important reason. Another would be cultural. There's a lot of cultural aspects of Costa Rica that depend on healthy ecosystems. And for example, when you think of Aboriginal legacies and things like that, I think that's a very important thing as well. And then we can think of health. We for our health we depend on clean air, on clean water, and on the availability of water. And for that we need to have at least some part of conservation. And the other would be because if we conserve areas, we might be conserving sources or resources that we could use in the future for medicinal purposes, or pharmaceutical purposes, or even other less important purposes that could be economically advantageous. Let's see. What can other countries do to help aid in the conservation of this beautiful country? Well, I think promote it touristically, I think would be helpful. The more tourism we have, the more incentive it is to conserve pristine areas in the country. And education, pretty much. Other countries telling their people of what Costa Rica is. I think it would be.
That people from United States usually get surprised when they come to Costa Rica, because they are really thinking that they're going to an exotic country. And yes, we are. But, for example, they don't know we have the same movies, or channels and television, all of them, same TV shows, same schedule, all of them are the same that in the States. So, and they come to San Jose and they see McDonald's, Burger King, and they're like, what? I'm like, what? Costa Rica is so Americanized too. I don't know why. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's how it is. I would love if people from states or other countries far from Costa Rica take the chance like to know that of course we're gonna be different because we're different cultures. Like if you can find different people in the same country, of course you're gonna find different people if you're from two different countries. But statements, well, I would like sometimes I feel like they don't know that we are educated, for example, as they are. Sometimes they don't believe that we can be like professionals. I don't understand why. I mean, that's like the only thing I sometimes like. I feel like, wait a minute,